Well, hello, all of my crafty friends. I am so glad to be back, guys. This is a video that I did before I had to leave on an emergency. As many of you guys know, my dad passed away, and so I am just coming off of quarantine. So we are going to try really hard to get through this voiceover, okay? So this is one of the floral sets I will have linked below. It's a Simon Says stamp set that I've been wanting to use. I really love these flowers that are in there and those leaves. So I'm going to take you through and I'm going to color up one of each of the flowers just so you guys can see how I colored them, and then I'm going to color the rest of them off screen. So while I'm coloring, I just wanted to kind of have an opportunity to, first of all, say thank you to all of you guys who are still here. I know that over the last couple of months, I have been a little more absent on the channel than I typically had been. And I just will tell you guys that my world has pretty well been rocked since August. My grandmother passed away at the end of August, and so I ended up going home at the end of August. And while I was at home burying my grandmother, my brother had a mental health crisis, and he lived in Maryland, and so we had to take care of that situation, causing me to be gone a little bit longer. And my brother actually ended up returning with us to New York to help continue stabilizing. We had to quarantine once we got back to New York. And so that took us into the middle of September. And I thought that I was starting to get my footing back. And at the beginning of October, my father had a stroke and was hospitalized for the stroke. And then he continued to have some strokes while he was in the hospital, which continued to make him decline. And at the end of October, I lost my father. So that caused me to need to make a second trip to South Carolina to take care of all of those affairs. And I was gone for 2 weeks. And then I came back and I had to quarantine again. So today is actually my first day being able to go back to work and kind of try to start a routine. We really used the 2 weeks of quarantine to try to decompress and just be a family and things of that sort. So it's just been a lot going on, and I know that I've really tried to be very active on my channel, but life just sometimes gets in the way. And so I just wanted to thank you guys who have continued to stick around, who are here with me. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope that by the beginning of the year, we have a new footing and can start some more consistency. I just can't promise anything for the remainder of the year because with the holidays coming up and things of that sort, I just don't know what that's going to look like for me right now. So I will continue to try to bring you some things. I have tried to keep communication with you guys on the community tab in YouTube. So if you guys don't know about that, make sure you go and check that out and click on that. I know that some of you guys have seen my new endeavor of Tumblr making. And so I try to kind of give you guys some sneak peeks and just keep in contact with you over there when I'm not able to actually provide videos. So I hope that you guys will hop over there and communicate with me there. I've also tried to launch my blog this year because I just want to have multiple means of communicating with you guys. So the blog is listed below, as well as the new store. So we have opened our store and I'm hoping that it will be cards and tumblers. So that's really exciting. I've been doing some raffles over there. So if you guys are interested, please make sure you go and check that out. And I just love you guys and I love the support that you provide. And I love being able to do these things and to be able to share them with you. So I really would like to know from you guys, what would you like to see on the channel coming in the new year? I really want to try to ensure that the channel is something that you guys want, enjoy, and look forward to, because that's the whole purpose of me doing these videos. I just enjoy sharing, and I love the community that I've been able to create with you guys. I've missed you guys immensely, and now we're going to try to walk you guys through what I did with this card. Again, this card was made probably about 5 weeks ago at this point, so I might fumble a little bit, so please forgive me. Ask any questions that you have in the comment section. You guys know I will be there to respond. So you guys can see that I just outlined this flower with my lightest color. Now I'm going in that same area with my darkest color. This is going to be creating my shadows. So this is just wherever one leaf touches another or folds over another. That is kind of how I outline my florals, because sometimes when you have a lot of different leaves, it gets a little intimidating and you don't know where to start and you think you're going to mess up. And so when I do this shadowing first, it really does help me kind of visualize where I need to place my colors down. So as you can see, after I do that, I'm going to go in with my second lightest color, and now I'm starting to pull some of that color out from those shadow areas. So we're going to continue to go all the way around the flower and do this. And when we get toward the end, where you see some of the flowers on the outer edges that make these kind of U shapes, we're going to go in and try to define those with some shadows as well. So we're going to go in and kind of put in that darkest mid-tone color. As you guys could see, I used 4 color blends on both of these flowers. I was still in a very fall mood. Fall is my very favorite time of the year, and so I thought that these florals, I don't even know what they really are. I love flowers, but I could not pick out many flowers. If you gave me a quiz on it, I would fail. So I really thought these were pretty, and I thought they would be really cute in a gold and kind of a rust orange color. So that's what I decided to do here. So you can see I'm flicking in that lightest mid-tone color. Now I'm going to go in with my lightest color for this. And if you guys notice, I went from an E marker for my darkest colors, and now I'm using some of the YRs to bring in that orange. And that YR04 brings out kind of that orange into a yellow transition, which I really, really enjoyed. So that's going to be my lightest color. And then what you're going to see next is, like, for example, here, there's still a lot of space at the top of that floral, and you can see that dip in. So I'm going back in with my darkest color, and I'm just going to create a dip in those flowers, and that's going to kind of show that bend in the flowers. And I'm going to do the same thing, going from darkest and then pulling that all the way out to the lightest color again, just so that that can define that that floral is folding at that point. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, if it doesn't, please make sure that you leave me a comment. Ask me any questions you need. My information to contact me is all in the description box. I hope you guys check the description box, because a lot of times I give you information that I can't fit into the video. So this is what the florals look like. Now off screen, I did color up some more florals, and I had my brother Scan and cut those out, and I cut out some of the leaves that I want to help us use for this floral fancy fold. I don't know what to call it. Why don't you guys give it a name? Tell me what you will call this card. So here is the card base, and I have scored this twice, and then I have 2 diagonal folds as well. And then I have also gone into my design space and I cut out these triangles, and they will have an offset of about 1/4 of an inch. You can see this is how they will be layered on the card base. Now, if you guys like this card and you have a Cricut, just let me know in the Craft Therapy group on Facebook. I can give you guys the link to this project so that you'll have all the dimensions and you can recreate this card. So as you can see, I am kind of interchanging the base piece with the top layer on each side of the card. I just thought that it would give it some additional interest. And then you see we have our center panel that will open up, and we are going to use some of our art glitter glue And that is what we're going to use to fix all of our triangle layers together. And it's just going to give a really slight border around each of the pieces, which was one of the reasons why I decided to interchange the bottom and the tops, because I liked both of these patterns and I wanted them both to show. But sometimes you're using pattern paper as your outline area and you don't get to show a lot of it. And sometimes that makes me upset. So I decided that I was going to do something different and I was going to have best of both worlds. So I am going to glue all 4 of those together, and those are going to be the pieces that are going to go where we created the diagonal score line on either side of our card. Now this is a irregular shaped card. It is close to a 5x7 when it's done, so it will fit into a 5x7 envelope, but the way that you can see I'm folding it, it is not going to be your regular shaped card. So I'm just going in and reinforcing those score lines, and each of the diagonal score lines will be folded away from the inner portion of the card. And so when the card is completely done, this will be the way that the card will open. So I thought that this was really cute. I just wanted to do something different. I'm always trying to find something a little bit different to do with my cards, just so that when I send it to a person, it's an extra like, you were really thought about when I made this card. I wanted something special for you. That is what I want all of my cards to say when I am presenting them to people. So as you guys can see, I'm putting the wood grain pieces on the outer edge, and it also has a border. So you can see the card base. There's about 1/8 of an inch border going all the way around. And then the white pattern I have on the inside of the card. So you will see that once the card is open. Now I will bring in just a moment the centerpiece as well. You guys know that I love to finish off the fronts of my cards, and this one was no different. So I'm going to take that wood grain panel and I'm going to use that as my centerpiece. And then I love doing my encouragement, and my encouragement comes through scriptures, and so that is what I used to complete the inside of the card. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down inside, and again I'll have that 1/8 of an inch border going around. So this is what our card is coming out looking like so far. I thought it was super cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on kind of the arrangement of how I want the flowers to be. Now, you can arrange your flowers in any way that you want to. The only thing that I will say is be careful with the center, and you'll see in a little bit I had to kind of snip one of my leaves so that I could get it to fit the way that I wanted it to, because with this being an irregular fold card, of course the floral section is going to be irregular as well, because I just felt like it added some interest. So I'm bringing in that Glad press and seal because that allows me to keep my florals in position while I prepare to glue them together. So I can just go in and add little dots of glue around to get everything to stick where I want it to be before I actually add it to the panel. This is an awesome little tip. I think I learned this somewhere on YouTube. I don't know. It may have been Jennifer McGuire. It might have been Paper Prairie and Ink. I can't remember her channel, but I love it anyways. But this is one of the techniques that I learned from one of the YouTube channels. It might have even been Courtney. I don't remember. But it is great to use if you have already created your florals and you want to ensure to keep them in the arrangement that you have made. It works out really well. So now that I have kind of figured out where I want them to sit, I can start to put glue on it. Now, it's very important to notice where you're putting glue, because you don't want glue to end up being on those leaves, and you don't want it to be all the way on the back of that big floral, because then you would glue your card down to the base, which is not what you want. So I was very aware of where I was placing the glue on each of my panels. Now you can see that there's going to be some overlap, and I just thought that it would be beautiful to create a full cluster while this card is closed. So this is why you see things hanging on either side. Now here is where I had to do a little bit of finagling because I noticed that the way that I'm going to have this closed, that leaf does not fit the way that I want it to. So I'm just going to bring in my scissors. I'm going to snip that off, and then I'm going to add it to another portion of the card, and it works beautifully. I thought this card came out so amazing. And so now the last thing that I'm going to do, well, not the last thing, I think the second to the last thing, is I'm going to add a U onto the top of this floral. Now I have stacked up about 4 of these U sentiments, and I'm going to glue those together, and then I'm going to bring in some vinyl. You guys know that I love my vinyl, and recently I have found this vinyl that looks like it just looks amazing. I have to figure out what the name of it, and I'll put it in the description box or in the comments, but it has become one of my new favorites, I am sure, for adding some shimmer to my sentiments and also using that vinyl component like I love to do. So I stacked up 4 of these to give it kind of a chipboard look. This is probably my favorite U. I'm sure you've seen this before, and this is that vinyl. Like, that is just, I don't know. It's so beautiful. I am in love with this stuff. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it over the top. And I just think once you add that, you don't need anything else for your sentiment. It is shimmery, it's shiny, it's glossy, it's finished looking. I absolutely love this stuff. Let me just get off that soapbox because I can talk about that all day. So now we have this completed. I'm going to decide where I want it to be placed on my card. So again, you have to decide which area you're going to want it glued. Now I wanted it to kind of flop over on both sides. That's probably not a great technical term to be using, but that's what we're going to use today. And so I'm just going to glue it over to the right side. And then I made a little sentiment strip to go at the bottom that says, "Got this." So the sentiment is, "You got this." I really think that this will be a great encouragement card for a friend that I know has been going through a lot of things, and I just want her to know that she is so loved. Have you ever had those friends that you just want to send like all of your hugs and give them your embrace? That's what I wanted this card to be. So this is what we come up with when we are done. It is an irregular fold, and it is beautiful, and it just screams fall to me. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. And I am so ready to chat with you guys in the comment section below. So like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.